What's in the box?
Ahoy, comic art hoarders! Welcome to the Art Cove. I'm Stingray, and I'm excited because I have a very large package to hand, and I can't wait to open it and show you what's in it. I've already done some pre-opening because this was pretty thoroughly wrapped up in lots of paper and tape, and so I got the outer layer, the protective outer shell off of this. And so I think I've got this nice thick cardboard sandwich with some juicy art in the middle. So we'll get to that in just a moment. First, I wanted to talk to you guys about why this one has me so excited. There's three reasons, basically. The first reason I'm excited is just because I like large art and I cannot lie. And I know that, you know, sometimes when an art walks in with an itty-bitty waist and throws a fat frame in your face, you get sprung. And I do too. We all do. It's natural and it's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, I think large art like this should be celebrated. The second reason I'm excited for this one is the fact that it's here, because this came all the way from Italy. And I didn't know if it was going to make it or if I was going to have to deal with paying extra tariffs or duty fees or anything crazy like that. But I'm happy to report that I didn't have to deal with any extra shenanigans or bullshittery. It got here very quickly, actually. The artist shipped this to me via FedEx's international priority shipping. It left on Friday. It arrived on the Monday after, which blows my mind that it got here that quickly. And I didn't have to pay any extra money. I didn't have to pay any extraneous shipping fees or anything. So I'm super happy with that. And lastly, this piece excites me because this is a commission from an artist who I only became aware of in the last, year and a half or so. And as soon as I saw his art for the first time, I knew that I had to get something by him. And so the fact that I've been able to make that happen is just, I'm super stoked. And some of you may recognize this artist, and especially if you're familiar with the collection of CEO Kazra Ganbari. He has several pieces by this guy. And I was fortunate enough to get to see one of those in person, at least one, at IC3 this year, back in March. Kazra brought a book with some of his commissions, 40 or 50 of them. And at least one of those was by this artist. So, and I have to say, his work looks great on CAF or online, but seeing it in person is a whole other thing. And so I am ready to tear into this bad boy. And I hope you guys are too. So let me see. Okay, cool. And then we got like, oh dear. All right. And we have like extra tape in the inside. We've got like a nice little package here, a little envelope made out of, I don't know, like crepe paper or something. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can, here, come on. No? Shit. Wait a minute. What is this? What? Okay, that's unexpected. All right, I'm not going to show you yet. Hold on. Wait one. Okay. Well, then, is this? Oh my goodness. All right, hold on. Let me see if do I need to just undo the whole thing? All right, we'll start with this. Well, I guess I should say who's by, but if you don't recognize it already, this is going to be Stingray by Giorgio Comolo. And this right here is one of the prelims that he did for me. I believe this is the second prelim. Look at the incredible amount of detail that he put into this. And this is just a friggin' prelim. Look at all the hatching. Like, that is wild. So there's that. No. I don't like doing this, but I'm going to do it because it feels like it's stuck in the bottom. I'm just ripping the paper of the little envelope here, not the actual art, guys. Don't worry. I'm not a complete monster. Okay, there we go. All right, you guys ready for this? Ba-bam. Stingray by Giorgio Comolo. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, future me is going to get a photo of this or something, and I'm going to put it on the screen over here. So I'm going to just look at this and bask in it. And I think I'm probably going to zoom in on some parts. So I'm going to narrate what I'm looking at right now, and we'll add the photos in later. You'll love it, trust me. So, and I can even do like this, and ooh, look at this up here, this part, and look at that part right there. Like, yeah, doesn't that look cool? Oh. But yeah, so it's the brilliance of movie magic, right? So first of all, look at how big it is. It's about 16 by 22. Oh my God. Utterly and completely insanely gorgeous. Oh my God. So first of all, the composition is fantastic. And what's cool about it is Giorgio actually did 2 prelims for this, and the first one was a very different composition, a different pose for Stingray. And you know, I saw it and I liked it, got it via email. I replied back and said, I think it looks great. And then they came back and told me that Giorgio was going to do a second, even more detailed commission. And I got this one. And I have to say that this one is way better. I think it just, Stingray, his body position, it makes him look a little bit more heroic. And it looks like he's really like fighting for his life here. And that is especially comes through in the details, like the area in the bottom left there, where that one sea monster creature is taking a big old bite out of the cape. I think that's such a great little detail. And then the upper part where he's, you know, got his arm up like this, and he's using the hard edge of his cape to slice that bitch. Like, and the streak of red, which I assume is like the blood, you know how it kind of looks like it becomes like almost like a gas, but in the water, you know, and you can see it. And I think that's just such a great little detail. And then of course, you know, there's the motion up there by the hand. So you get all the little bubbles to kind of indicate that. I love how Stingray is kind of pushing off of the one on the bottom and using that either to hold it down or to use it as leverage to get some more upward thrust as he's slicing the one above him. And then just, there's so many little things. Like there's the 2 big monsters. There's the one kind of over Stingray's right shoulder. There's a little tiny one all the way off into the left, way back in the background. And then you get the little bit of the one in the upper right-hand corner who you just see a little bit of his forehead, basically. I absolutely love the debris that's breaking through the bottom border. There's like a little hermit crab shell and some rocks and other debris that's just breaking that border and giving it like a little bit of extra dimensionality. The skull in front of this one monster and the other bone, previous victims, and Stingray doesn't want to end up like that, so he's got to fight for his life here. And then the weird, like the weird castle thing in the upper, toward the upper right hand corner here that looks, I don't know, like a weird forgotten undersea version of Castle Grayskull. And then just the color choices. I love how this is a primarily blue piece. To you know, gives you that underwatery feel. And Stingray has a lot of blue on him, blue light reflections rather. But he's very upfront and forward, and the red from his costume and the bright white stand out to make him the thing that your eye is drawn to. But I love the other little uses of red here, like in the mouths of the creatures, and their eyeballs are red too, or well, the irises of the eyes. I think that's just really, really awesome. Oh my God, this thing is just gorgeous. I could just stare at this all day. Like, this is, wow. And I got one other thing. This is just amazing, but I wanted to show you this other thing real quick. I didn't expect this, but this is a little add-on. It's a xenomorph. And it says for Null, Comolo 2025. Didn't know I was going to get that. That's kind of awesome. Thank you, Giorgio. That's, wow. I'm going to leave the art up here for you guys to look at while I talk to you about the commission process, because this is a commission, and honestly, I think it's important for us as collectors to talk about the act of commissioning and working with artists and what it's like, and to put that all out there. The commission process for this piece was pretty straightforward, pretty great, actually. It began back in May during the spring 2025 session of Comic Art Live. Giorgio actually had a virtual booth at Comic Art Live and said that he was taking commissions. So I reached out through his booth and inquired about the commissions because he didn't have any details listed like sizes or pricing or anything like that. I reached out via the booth, and within, I want to say like 24 hours, I think I got an email reply back. And well, it wasn't from Giorgio. I never actually spoke with him. It was from I believe it's his daughter, Kiara, who is like his business manager, handles all of the business side of things for him. And she wrote back to me, and it was obviously a like a form email. It was a copy paste job, but you know, you can tell that he gets a lot of commission inquiries, and they had it down to a science. So there's a nice big, well formatted table, like right out of an Excel spreadsheet, that had a list of all of his tiers, options, you know, like sizes, prices, et cetera, and so forth. And God, I want to say there was like 15 different options for price ranges and sizes and level of detail. Uh, Perhaps the most of any artist that I've seen that does commissions. But the cool thing about it is like he had some that were relatively cheap, just, you know, like a couple $100 onto the larger ones that were over 1,000, you know? So I ended up picking the largest and most expensive and most detailed option. I think it was described as hyper detailed. And I mean, just you can tell that that's absolutely what I got. And then they described in that first email response the overall commission process. And so the way it was explained to me was that I would reply to that email to give the subject that I wanted in the commission. I could also send them $100 down payment, which would basically get me actually legitimately on Giorgio's commission list. And I thought that that was smart, right? Some artists will take like half up front, half later, whatever. $100 down payment just to put you on the list. You know, no fuss, no muss. It's not super expensive, but it's a way for them to get a little bit of money. It's a way to get the commissioner a little bit more, you know, I guess invested, so that they feel like that they're putting something out there that they don't want to, you know, miss out on getting on that. And not getting something if they've already put a little bit money into it without asking for, you know, the whole amount up front. After the down payment, that's when Giorgio would go to work and I would get a prelim. I think it was a few weeks later, I ended up getting the image of the second prelim in my email. And at that point, I was told that I would pay, once I agreed with that prelim, once I gave it a thumbs up, after the second prelim is when I was told I would then pay half of the money owed. And then he would go to work on the painted edition, the final version. And then once that was completed and it was shown to me and I was happy with it, I would pay the back half of the money. That's not exactly what happened. Basically, I got the first prelim. A little while later, I got the second prelim. And then I didn't really hear anything for a while. And then one day I just got a random email with a photo of the final image of the final painted edition. And I was like, oh. And then, you know, they asked me for basically all of the money. And I don't think that's a necessarily, it wasn't like a deal breaker. I wasn't upset about it. It's just that I had kind of mentally prepared to break the payment of this piece up over, you know, at least two different paychecks, two different pay periods, I guess. Suddenly having to pay for the whole thing in one go, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it kind of threw me off a little bit is all. I would absolutely recommend Giorgio if you are looking for an amazingly detailed commission. I think his work is fantastic. I think that, you know, the communication through the whole thing, like I said, I was working with Kiara and she emailed back and forth with me regularly. One thing that did come up during the commission process that I think I'd like to bring up. After I had initially commissioned Giorgio, another idea for a commission occurred to me after I had sent that first prompt. And I was excited by the prospect of that idea. I thought it was a great idea for a Stingray commission. And I really, really, really wanted to do it. I wanted to find an artist to do it. And I'd already just commissioned Giorgio. So I thought, I'm going to reach out and see what he thinks. And I sent an email and said, hey, Chiara, do you think, here's this idea, big, long idea. It was one of a more detailed prompt than what I usually give, but it's a very specific idea. I said, do you think Giorgio would be into this? And to their credit, Chiara wrote me back a couple days later and said, well, so first of all, you asked for a hyper detailed commission, and what you're describing doesn't really fit in with that. What you're describing is a little bit more, and I don't remember how they termed it, but basically whimsical or silly. And that's not really what Giorgio's into. He can absolutely still do it, but I don't know if you'd be happy with the outcome. And when I read that, I had to take a step back and go, oh, but it made sense. And at the end of the day, I think I'm glad that they were very honest and upfront with me in regards to this, because I can see where the idea that I had doesn't really fit Giorgio's style. And the piece that I got is so good that I'm glad that he didn't try to shoehorn in that other more whimsical idea that I had. I'm glad he didn't just say, well, you're paying me, I'll do whatever you want, right? I'm glad that he had the fortitude to know that it wasn't something that was suited to his style. And I'm just really thankful that he and Chiara were able to communicate that to me in a way that didn't feel like they were trying to like push me off, but they just wanted to give me the best commission that they could. And I think that's what happened. So again, the overall commission process for this piece was just really, really smooth, really easy. And I would recommend, if you're looking for a super detailed piece of art, Giorgio's the man. He's the guy to go to, and highly recommended. Check out his art, and if you can, get it on his list. I think it's totally worth it. I think that's it for me today. I'm just gonna keep looking at this for a while longer. But I'm gonna turn off the camera, and I'm gonna say, have a great day, and remember that every day is a great day for Stingray.